Hey guys, we just got the information about 3.1 with 2 new characters being released and 2 new Euphoria updates with Argus and A-Knight. I was asked to please give my predictions onto what do I think these characters will look like and what about the Euphorias, right? Do some predictions. Please keep in mind that those are predictions. I'm not saying this is how it will be or anything like that. I'm just solely predicting stuff and I'm telling you why am I predicting the stuff that I predict. So let's talk about the 2 new characters first. We have Bubushka and Corvis. Let's talk about Corvis first because she is much harder to predict and kind of a wild card. Now, since she is from the intellect of Ladies, I would guess that she belongs to the Dynamo archetype. She is also all about trains. Trains are kind of science, right? Here's where it already becomes a little bit lackluster, but you know, trains and intellect of Ladies. That is why I would predict she would belong to the Dynamo archetype. If I had to make a guess, right? Now there's a big problem here, and that is who in the world would she replace in that team? What spot would she take? Lucy with her brand new Euphoria and her brand new garment on the 2nd anniversary? No way, right? I could not see this at all. Then sub DPS replacing Ulrich. That is not completely impossible if you think about it, because Ulrich is quote-unquote just a free-to-play character. The problem here is that Ulrich is an absolute powerhouse. He's a very overpowered character. And introducing a character that would be strong enough to actually replace Ulrich, I mean, that would be ridiculous. So I kinda have a problem seeing that as well. That one is not impossible though, because again, Ulrich is free to play, so they might want to replace him. Okay. Then yeah, replacing Sharon, there's absolutely no way in hell, right? Lucy and Sharon are they're not gonna get replaced anytime soon. That I can promise you. Now I could easily see Ezra being replaced, no problem whatsoever. The thing is that Corvis does... Oh, Semmelweis is talking. Give me 1 second. Could you please shut the fuck up, Semmelweis? Thank you very much. Okay, why do I not see Ezra being replaced here? That is simply because with how Corvis looks, with this like train ability and everything, she does not seem at all like a sustain character. I don't think she will provide heals or shields or anything like that. So if she will be from the Dynamo archetype, my bet would be that she replaces Ulrich. Now, predicting her to be Dynamo in the first place is like a little bit far-fetched here. So what else could Corvis actually be? What team could she belong to? And the answer is, I'm sorry, but I have absolutely no idea whatsoever. All the teams are full. No team would need an improvement or replacement or anything like that. Now, could she be a new archetype? Maybe. I call that also very unlikely. And here's why. I just cannot see the developers introducing a new archetype, because we in version 3.0 already got a new archetype introduced, at least teased. They give Corvis her second Euphoria update, making her about a new archetype called Fire Sprouts. And if the Fire Sprouts would be now left behind and they wouldn't turn into an actual new archetype, then I don't see why the developers would ever even do this, you know? It would just make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, it is still not impossible, because the developers sometimes they do things that make absolutely no sense whatsoever, and they waste their workforce, you know? The 5-star garments, like, you know, I counted the examples very often right now. So them developing something completely useless that no one cares about and no one will ever use is not completely impossible. That's why I brought it up in the first place, that Corvis could be, if she doesn't belong to the Dynamo archetype, introduce and be the start of a brand new archetype, whatever that might be. Now, back to the Fire Sprouts dilemma here. I don't know. It leaves me very, very speechless and very confused, as you might can tell, because they need an update. Now here's the kicker: those Fire Sprouts, they belong to Druvis, and Druvis also is from the Plant Afflators, and she has a support ability that lets her buff the ally in front of her and the ally in the back of her, behind her. Those have to be from the Plant Afflators though, in order for these buffs to work out. And it is very, very likely that in the version 3.2, excuse me, we will get a new limited character from the Plant Afflators. So my prediction here would be that we get the first addition to the Fire Sprouts mechanic archetype in version 3.2 with this limited Plant Afflators character. Why do we predict a Plant Afflators type character that is limited for 3.2? Because that is the only Afflators that does not have a limited character yet. And that's about my prediction for Corvis. I don't see another new archetype being teased or introduced, because the Fire Sprouts, right? Introducing a second archetype already while we just got one introduced and there's no developments to be seen. I mean, I don't see that happening. So if I have to come up with a prediction for Corvis, she replaces Ulrich in the Dynamo archetype team. Cool. Now we can move on to the other character that will be introduced in 3.1, that is Bubushka, and this one is way easier. If you have seen the trailer, I have a video about that, by the way, on my channel, then you will realize that this is a vampire. She talks about blood and how blood is a very important source of life. Therefore, it would make a lot of sense for her, of course. First of all, she talks about blood and she's a vampire. That already confirms pretty much that she will be from the blood-type archetype, right? Easy to tell that. Then this whole, blood is a very important source of life. That would make me to predict that she will be the healer, right? For the blood-type archetype. Because if you look at this team, right, the blood-type, what character could you see here being replaced? Easy call goes to Medicine Pocket right out of the gate. Very easy to predict that. And that's why I think this new character called Bubushka will be the healer, the sustain for the blood-type archetype and replace Medicine Pocket as the best in slot. Those were my predictions about the two new characters. Let's go now and predict the new Euphoria updates. Alright, here we have them. It's Argus and A-Knight. This time, let's talk about the easier to predict character first, which is Argus. Argus is already a part of the newly formed rank up team. We got Euphoria updates for, in particular, Via and Marcus in the Assassin's Creed collaboration, and they make up a new team called the Rank Up team. It's an archetype now. And Argus is, yeah, a part of this team for sure, but a little bit on the weaker side. She's not the best in slot, and even as a you don't really even want to use her as a substitute, because it would make the team much worse putting her in. That's why probably she gets a Euphoria update. And since this team is also new, you have Marcus, Hisabeth, Mercuria and Via. That's the main team, that's the core. You can use Anali because she helps ranking up incantations by using her ultimate as well. That is same as with Argus, pretty lackluster though. So this team getting a new addition to it, even making it a little bit better. Like this is like the sixth best team when we look at the tier list in the game. So I can totally see this team getting an addition with Argus that might even honestly take the best in slot in this team and make this team better and improve it. It's like so that it can either be better than the ultimate archetype team and take rank number 5 when it comes to team ratings, or just make it so that the 6th spot for this team is solidified. And what could Argus perform in this team? I could easily see her replacing Mercuria, right? I can even see her replacing Hisabeth and yeah, deal more damage, support Marcus better than the others, and yeah, see overall more synergy with this rank up team as a whole due to her new Euphoria update. As I said, she's already part of this team, but just too weak, so giving her a Euphoria update would actually make some sense. And now with A-Knight is where things get a little bit more complicated. Like look, if you look on this at the surface, then this is very easy to predict, no problem whatsoever. Just look at A-Knight and what he does, and you will easily figure out he will belong to the ultimate archetype. That's what he does. He wants to use his ultimate and execute people that are on very low HP. He deals more damage when the enemies are at 20% HP or below. That's what he's all about. So he will belong to the ultimate archetype. That would be a safe call to make here. Now is where, if you take a little bit of a deeper look into this, is where things get really weird. You would guess that A-Knight, of course, is the main DPS for the ultimate archetype team. But you can see this here. We have Recoleta already, who kind of dominates this archetype as the main DPS. Then in version 3.0, we get Centurion, who is also can take the main DPS spot in this ultimate archetype team. In version 2.8 we get Buddy Fatfuck, who is a free 5-star character who, you guessed it, can also take the main DPS spot in this ultimate archetype team. And we even have a rerun in tomorrow, in fact, of the character Noah. Noah is also a character that can take the main DPS spot in this ultimate archetype team. You see where this is going, right? We have tons of characters that can take the main DPS spot for the ultimate archetype team. We got Recoleta in 2.5. We got Noir in 2.5. We got Recoleta in 2.6. We get Buddy Fatfuck in version 2.8. We have Centurion in version 3.0. And now in version 3.1, they give us another main DPS for the ultimate archetype team. I honestly cannot see this. This would not be a good move. This would not be good game development, right? I mean, you don't need to be a physicist or anything to figure this one out easily. And if you look at this support slot, right, you would never see A Knight taking the support slot for that team, you know. But if you look at that slot, because maybe, right, there is Mikuria, there is Muldi in 2.8, there is Getyan taking the best in slot in 3.0, and now in 3.1 you introduce another support for this team with A Knight. Would be rough on the edges, like a sword could be. Then you will realize that looking at this ultimate archetype team, they lack a healer. No way A Knight is gonna be a healer. I think we all easily agree on this right away. So what in the world could he do in this ultimate archetype team? And the only answer is the sub DPS. Now there's another big problem that occurs, because Melania is way too good to ever be replaced, honestly, in this ultimate archetype team. Introducing a character, if let's say, right, A Knight would fill the slot in this team better than Melania does, A Knight would be on a completely different level and hella busted. You know what I mean? Maybe we could, like, I don't see this A Knight sub DPS together with Recoleta, at least. That is what I absolutely don't see. Recoleta needs Melania. Maybe you can make an argument for Melania switching roles to support and then putting A Knight as the sub DPS, but that is not completely impossible, honestly, but he would need to be really AP friendly. And then you could kind of make an argument for A Knight just replacing Getyan, you know, and it doesn't quite work when we talk about good game development here, honestly. And yeah, I mean, it could happen if they can make A Knight, of course, completely busted must pull character, and then he replaces Melania in his team. I mean, alright, that would be a little bit over the top, such as with the new character in 3.1. Corvis is her name, replacing Ulrich, right? It's on that kind of outrageous level. But you never know. Other than that, like, you know, to me, from my perspective, this ultimate archetype team is more than complete. Like, we talking here about follow-up attack team kind of replacement options. Like, this team is overloaded. It should just stay like this after Getyan. And even Centurion, right? In 3.1, like in 3.0, we get a new main DPS for this team, even with Centurion. So, I mean, just let this team rest for a while. Just give it a healer and then call it a day, and we cool for a long time, okay? Now, what else could A Knight possibly do? And that is where you come in and you tell me I have no idea, honestly, what he could be. Like, fit into this new Fire Sprouts mechanic, have his teammates, for example, spread those Fire Sprouts and have A Knight make them explode faster or something like that. I can't come up with something. It wouldn't make any sense to me, because he's also not from the plant afflators or anything. So on A Knight I'm pretty lost, just as with Corvis, right? We have two characters here that are very easy to predict, with Bubushka and Argus. But with the other two, like what was her name? Corvis and A Knight, those two are completely wild cards to me, and I just explained you in deep detail actually why that is. So let me know what you predict overall for all of these characters. What would you wish them to be? What would you say A Knight will be? What is his role? What will his archetype be? Will he see a complete rework? Not impossible, right? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. But that's it for the video, guys. I hope that was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, don't forget to join the Discord server, link to that in the description down below. Take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.